Hello, what's up everybody? My name's Bailey and today I'm going to walk you through my experience playing a bunch of games that were featured in the 2025 Tiny Teams Festival. For those who don't know, Tiny Teams is a Steam festival that shines a spotlight on various indie games created by solo devs and micro studios. This year it featured titles that you probably already know, such as Stardew Valley or Phasmophobia, alongside many brand new games that you likely haven't heard of yet. I was lucky enough to be selected by Yogscast, the group that puts together this amazing festival, to receive codes for a bunch of the featured games. Seriously, thank you so much to Yogscast for putting together this event and letting me be a part of it. While I didn't play every single game featured this year, which probably would not have been possible since there was hundreds included, I did play 40 and I feel like that is still pretty good. I made sure to include a wide variety of games, even those that didn't interest me that much, because I wanted to make sure that I made as comprehensive of a video as possible and really showcased the best of what Tiny Teams had to offer this year. Because of the large amount of games I played, I have decided to split this video into two major sections. The first section will be my top 20 games. There were so many games that I absolutely loved, so I want to be able to give my full thoughts on all of them and really give a good review of them all. The second section will be my brief thoughts on the other 20 games. I either didn't like them as much or they just didn't stand out the same way as the top 20 did. Also, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I only played 1 hour of each game. Not only would it have been genuinely impossible to play through the entirety of all of the games that I selected in the 1 week that Tiny Teams Festival was taking place, I also just didn't want to force myself to finish a game that I wasn't really enjoying, so I thought that setting an hour limit would be a good way to test the game, see what it was all about, but not put myself in a position where I was going to think too negatively of a game just because it wasn't for me. And with that being said, let's hop into section 1, which is my top 20 games. Number 20, Good News. In Good News, you play as the chief editor of a growing newspaper. The only issue is that your team is seemingly filled with the most incompetent employees the world has ever seen. Each day you head to work and receive a stack of drafts, all filled to the brim with errors. Referencing a fact sheet, you must look over the draft and mark any errors for correction. Then you repeat the process until all of the information is correct and you are ready to send it to print. This game was a really good time. At first I struggled getting into it, but once you start to gain more sections of the newspaper to edit, the game gets a lot more fun. This is basically a spot the difference game, so if you usually like that genre, you will likely enjoy this one. Alongside the regular mechanics of finding the errors, you also engage a bit in local politics, a storyline that I am super interested to see grow in the full release of the game. One important thing to point out is that this game does require you to be paying pretty good attention. Since I was streaming on Twitch at the time of playing, I got a bit distracted and failed to notice that the sports teams have nicknames, leading to me going about the entire game thinking that there was a bug that mixed up the team names. Luckily, it didn't affect my playthrough since I was able to guess pretty accurately what the correct draft was, but it would have been a lot easier had I paid better attention. I think that this is a game with a lot of potential, 3 out of 5 stars, and I am excited to see where it goes in the future. Number 19, Sheepherds. Sheepherds is a cozy co-op party game where you play as a sheepdog and guide colorful flocks of sheep through various landscapes. You pick between various breeds and dress in cute costumes before heading into pastures to run around and bark at the little animated sheep. I played this with 3 of my friends, which was an incredibly chaotic experience, but I feel like that is the best way to play the game. See, the sheep start out white, and then you have to herd them around the map to change the color of their wool. But the important detail is that they will change colors again if they go through different flowers. For example, if you turn a sheep yellow, but then it goes through purple flowers, your sheep is now purple. Trying to navigate the narrow paths between flowers while the sheep want nothing more than to veer off course was so much fun. It is a great twist on the party game genre, the perfect mix of chaos and relaxation. 3 out of 5 stars, I highly recommend. Number 18, Moonsigil Atlas. Moonsigil Atlas is a deck-building roguelike where you play cards using physical space and geometry rather than any sort of energy system. By manipulating the shape of your cards, you have to find the best ways to slot them together to create the strongest combos and defeat rounds of enemies. I don't play a lot of deck building games, but I genuinely loved this one. Each run you choose a character to play as, each having different strengths and weaknesses, abilities and health, etc, etc. So far it seems the demo has 3 characters, but I only managed to complete runs with 2 of them in the hour I played. My first run was with Feldrin, the Lost Chronicler. With him, I was still learning the game, so I lost rather quickly, but in my second run with Aladura, the Shard Keeper, I made it all the way to the boss before, unfortunately, getting absolutely destroyed. My favorite thing about the game was the way you played cards. Having to think about the best way to arrange my cards to maximize their output was a lot of fun. I am very excited to play this game again sometime soon and am determined to finish a run victorious. 3 out of 5 stars for sure, although if you like deck building games such as this one, I think it's probably more of a 4 out of 5 for you. Number 17, Descenders Next. The one and only sports game we played was Descenders Next, an extreme sports game where you try to conquer the snowy peaks and winding dirt tracks. After the tutorial, you can choose between various mountains, snowboarding down as fast as possible while also attempting to complete different challenges. These challenges are based around the snowboarding tricks you can do, something that I was not good at. I was barely able to make it to the bottom of the mountains without dying, let alone adding in front flips or turns. I decided to spend the majority of my time in the game on the bunny slopes, which allowed me to slowly get used to the controls. With less hazards in the way and a straighter path, I was able to slowly work up to doing some of the tricks and even managed to land a backflip at one point, which I was very proud of. One really cool thing about Descenders Next is that it is an online game and you can see real people snowboarding around you. However, this does mean that every time you die, the other people can see it. So sorry to anybody who was in my lobby and had to keep seeing the message, but is bailed over and over again. Overall, I highly enjoyed this game, and if you are a fan of sports games, especially winter sports game, I think you need to check this one out. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Number 16, The RPG. This next game is so silly goofy, and I honestly wasn't sure what to expect from it at first, but it definitely delivered in being a great game. The RPG is described as being a minimalistic Skyrim plus West of Loathing plus Superland. It is an open world exploration and adventure RPG that references Skyrim without feeling like it's necessarily copying. I was worried that the character design, simple blobby bodies with basic faces, was going to distract from the gameplay experience, but it did the complete opposite and added to the fun. One of the game's biggest strengths is its humor and dialogue. My favorite part was running around, meeting various characters to hear what they had to say. I will say, it's not a hard game, the mechanics are very simple and the enemies are very easy to kill. But if you are okay with not having particularly challenging combat and want that nostalgic RPG experience, this game is for you. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Number 15, Mindlock the Apartment. Mindlock the Apartment is a point-and-click adventure game filled with dark humor and good times. You play as Colin, a man living a pretty lonely life in a rundown apartment. After waking up, you explore the apartment and get ready to go to work, doing things like getting dressed, feeding your pet rat, or maybe mouse, I don't know the difference, sorry to any rodent lovers, and looking for spare change to take the bus. Just as you start to get used to your surroundings, things begin to change. Hey chat, what the fuck? Where's our front door?
What?
Sending Colin into a panic and you, the player, down a path of discovery as you try to figure out what is going on. I don't want to say too much because the shock value of the storyline is a major strength of the game, but I promise exploring this game with no spoilers will be 100% worth it. This game was so reminiscent of point-and-click games I loved as a kid, but made for an adult audience. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I hope to be able to play it more sometime soon. Number 14, Vellum. Vellum is a co-op roguelite with a literary theme. In this game, you are thrust into a world as a magical pen, a scribe guarding a library from the Torn, an evil force threatening to destroy the books in the library. You choose a class, each defined by a different color, and jump into battle against the Torn, each level making you stronger through enhanced spells and abilities while also battling tougher foes. I had a really great time playing this with my friend Orby. Neither of us knew what was going on the vast majority of the time, but button smashing managed to get us to victory. I chose the Flourish ability, while Orby chose the Blot ability, something that defined our characters moving forward. I was a heavy hitter with a large damage output, and Orby was a healer, something I didn't realize at first. I was fighting my way through enemies left and right, taking absolutely no damage, feeling like a legend until I said, "Wow, I didn't take any damage. How did I take none and you died?" And Orby responded, "You did take damage. I was just healing you the entire time." Lesson learned, pay attention to your friends' abilities so you can work together and have the best chance of success. Overall, this was a very cool and well done roguelite game. 4 out of 5 stars. Number 13, GlitchSPANKR. GlitchSPANKR is a comedy-driven narrative adventure where you spank, spare, or smooch your way through a corrupted 90s game being haunted by an unstable virus. Meet Spunk, the silly goofy virus who you follow around various levels trying to spank with your little slappy hand. His primary form is a toilet, but he can also be seen as various other objects such as couches, tables, or vacuums. Basically, anything you see could be Spunk. GlitchSPANKR is a hilarious game where you search out various secrets, play lots of minigames, games and make decisions that change the relationship you have with Spunk as well as the storyline of the game itself. While I would usually lean more towards being chaotic evil in these sorts of games, I took pity on Spunk and went the friend route, getting to know him better, meeting his pets, and going on a beautiful date to a carnival with him. Although, I don't know if he thought it was a date, but like, I thought it was a date, so I'm just gonna say it was.
I know you want to dunk me in it. Okay. You got me. Don't you know I have a phobia of drowning? This is awful.
That's wild.
No!
This game requires you to think outside of the box and find unique solutions while also keeping you entertained as you spank everything you can see. I cannot think of any weaknesses of this game, but its strengths lay in its humorous dialogue and cool rewards you get for being a creative player. If you are a fan of the Stanley Parable, I would recommend GlitchSPANKR. It scratched the exact same itch in my brain as the Stanley Parable did. 4 out of 5 stars, highly recommend. Number 12, Elroy and the Aliens. Elroy and the Aliens is a super cute space-themed point-and-click adventure game. Set in an altered version of the 1990s, you play as the lovable Elroy, a rocket engineer whose father disappeared 18 years ago under suspicious circumstances. Alongside an investigative reporter named Peggy, you seek out answers regarding your father's disappearance and begin to learn that he may not be dead after all. Although I only got to explore Slope City, the game spans 2 planets, 60 locations, and features over 60 characters you can meet and interact with. Even just within Slope City, I encountered some super fun characters, all of which had something to offer to help me on my journey, such as Elroy's neighbor, Mrs. Kandinsky, who offered us the matches we needed to light our fireplace. A big plus for me was that the characters were all fully voice acted, something that makes my life astronomically easier as a streamer. Paired with the artwork and music, this created a very immersive experience that felt like I was both watching a show and playing a game at the same time. I ended the hour playing very excited to experience more of what the game had to offer. 4 out of 5 stars and definitely recommend. Number 11, The Devil is in the Details. I'm going to preface this game by saying that I usually do not like scary games. Despite being hyperfixated on Five Nights at Freddy's since like 2015, I cannot for the life of me play scary games. I am a self-proclaimed loser weenie baby and proud of it, but I wanted to see everything that Tiny Games had to offer, so I had to be so brave and test out some of the horror games. The first horror game we played was The Devil in the Details, a survival horror spot the difference game set in a creepy, nasty, scary house. When you join the game, you are introduced to a character named the Arbiter, who is basically the host of Hell's scariest game show, with you, the player, being the unlucky contestant. You walk around the house looking for highlighted objects, take note of what they look like, and then have to go back around and find which objects have been changed. It is all fun and games for the first couple of levels, but then the doors open and you gain access to more of the house. Avoiding obstacles, demons, and your own self-doubt becomes quickly impossible in this immersive horror simulator. As someone who doesn't like horror games, I found this one to be super scary, to the point that I had to have my friends sit in a voice call with me as moral support. Oh! No, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back!
Cereal just subscribed with Prime. Meow.
Each round has a time limit, things are constantly changing, and the scary atmosphere kept my heart rate up the whole time. Since I am not a horror fan, I struggle to think of a weakness other than game scary. My biggest complaint was that it felt like it got too much too fast, and I only got to level 5. There's no in-game system to take notes or any way of reminding yourself of what things looked like, so I think that as you progress further into the game, it could quickly become nearly impossible with all of the traps and demons trying to kill you. Although it may not be for me, I can see that this game was clearly made by a team that worked really hard on it. It has a unique concept, something that I haven't seen done before in this way, is immersive, and since every level changes each time you play it, I could see a horror fan getting a lot of playtime out of this game. Overall, super great game, 4 out of 5 stars. Number 10, Kulebra and the Souls of Limbo. A cozy, relaxing, and oddly emotional papercraft adventure game, Kulebra and the Souls of Limbo has you follow the journey of Kulebra, a dead snake that wakes up in limbo. Following the advice of a strange old lady, you take off on a journey to find your purpose in order to finally set your soul to rest. However, you quickly learn that you are not like the other girls, not like the other souls in Limbo. See, you can remember things from one day to the next, whereas most souls do not. You must use the information you learn to complete tasks and help those you meet find their purpose as well. Something I really want to point out as a strength with this game is its unique art style. I wasn't sure if I would like it at first, but I became so enraptured by the beautiful colors, and I think that the papercraft style really enhanced the rest of the gameplay. It made everything else feel just that much more whimsical. I would give this game 4 out of 5 stars for now, but I have a feeling that once I am able to play more than just an hour and actually finish it, it will be moved up to 5 out of 5 stars. Number 9. Hozy. While cleaning in real life may not be fun, cozy cleaning games are absolutely amazing. If I can't be a productive adult and clean up my bedroom, at least I can play a satisfying video game where all the trash can be dealt with in 2 minutes. And that is what Hozy is all about. In this game, you work to restore a forgotten neighborhood. You get to clean, paint, and decorate different rooms with beautifully designed objects of various styles. This game is just a demo right now, but already feels like a completely finished game, just a bit of a short one. The graphics are amazing, the perfect midpoint between realism and cartoony with beautiful dynamic lighting. The freedom to place things literally wherever you want allows the player to feel completely relaxed and just become immersed in the game. Not only are the different furniture pieces well designed, but they also tell a great story of who the person living in the room is and give each room a different personality. I had a great time playing this game, outside of a couple of hiccups. At first I couldn't get the game to work properly because it had for some reason opened up with a resolution of 3840 by 2160, but once I was able to figure out how to switch it to properly fit my screen, it was great. I also accidentally moved on from the first level too early because there was no confirmation after hitting the next level button. This rug, I don't know what I want to do with. I may not even want to use this item. No! Outside of those two issues, the game was amazing. 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I can definitely see it being bumped up to 5 out of 5 once the full game is released. Number 8. Expelled. Next up is Expelled, an interactive fiction game where you play as Verity Amersham, a student at Miss M's School for Promising Girls. One morning, a school prefect, Louisa Hardcastle, is pushed out of a window and you are the one who takes the blame. You then have to find who actually did it and clear your name before you get expelled. Throughout the game, you travel to various areas of the school and talk to characters such as the school's matron, teachers, and other students trying to figure out what really happened. You have to replay the day over and over again, each time going back with a bit more knowledge than you had before, which you can use to figure out the truth. I fear if I say too much else, I will end up spoiling the game, so I'm gonna leave it at that. The 2D art style complements the game in a nice way, keeping things simplistic and allowing you to focus fully on what you are learning through interactions and dialogue. By exploring everything, you are able to find so many incredibly cool secrets around the school, so I definitely recommend thoroughly looking at everything you come across. I think this game is deserving of a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend it. Number 7. WYRMHALL, Brush, and Banter. To begin our second day of streams, we played WYRMHALL, Brush, and Banter, a cute conversation-based game where you play as a little goblin taking over as a temporary employee at a cleaning kiosk in the city of WYRMHALL. In your new job, you meet quirky characters while cleaning strange artifacts that they bring to you. The game offers lots of entertainment while also being incredibly relaxing. Each night after you finish work, you get to watch various storylines unfold, learning more about the world around you. I absolutely loved this game and its cute, cozy, Halloween-y vibes. I can definitely imagine playing this game again in October. The biggest strength of this game was how we were able to get to know the characters. They all had such different and unique personalities, and it was always exciting to see returning customers and learn more about them. A weakness of this game would be its repetitive nature, something that I personally didn't mind all that much, but others might. The cleaning mechanics were very simple, and I could definitely see people getting bored of it. I would give this game 4.5 out of 5 stars. Number 6. Tiny Bookshop. One of the cozy games I was most looking forward to was Tiny Bookshop. In this game, you play as a character who has left their life behind to move to Bookstonbury, spending your days as the owner of a, well, tiny bookshop. It is primarily a management game with the main mechanics revolving around stocking your bookshop with different books, buying items that will give your sales a boost, and choosing the best location to park each day. Alongside the day-to-day sales, you also meet plenty of locals who will give you various missions or ask for help with different tasks, earning you stamps when you complete your goals. You can redecorate the interior and exterior of your tiny bookshop, placing things along a grid and changing the color of some but not all items. Something I absolutely loved was that the books in the game were real-life books, and patrons would sometimes ask for help, meaning that you got to look through your books to see what they wanted the most. From Heartstopper to Shakespeare, the game had so many cool books, and I was constantly excited to see which books I had that day. Heartstopper's in this game? Ah! Oh my god! That's amazing! I love gay people! I think the main weakness goes back to the decoration point. You can't paint everything and you do have to place things along a grid, which I would really prefer to have a bit more freedom with my building. I'm gonna give this game 4.5 out of 5 stars since I had such a great time playing and it didn't feel lacking in any way. Number 5, High Above. High Above is a rooftop building game where you are able to peacefully design and grow the perfect rooftop retreat. As of now, the game only has one building theme, a European one, but in the full release, the game will also have Japanese, modern, and futuristic themes. The buildings are fully customizable. From the size and shape of the buildings themselves, to the doors, windows, and roofs, everything is up to you. I went into building with no set plan, but I very quickly decided to make a house that was also kind of giving church vibes. It did take me a little bit of time to get comfortable with the controls of the game, but once I did, it was really easy to understand and everything pretty much made sense. It is definitely a well-made demo, and if you enjoy other cozy building games, you will love this one. Even in the demo, there were so many items to pick from as decoration with plenty of color swatches, so I cannot wait to see everything else that comes in the full release. Something else that was amazing was that you could choose between the regular art style or a pixelated one. It added another layer of customization that I thought was really cool. Overall, this game is a 4.5 out of 5 stars already, and I am so excited to see what it looks like in full release. Number 4, Soulmates. Soulmates is, in the simplest of explanations, Overcooked in space. You and your friends have to work together to keep your ship safe from space monsters and alien ships, each of which present different challenges. Being a roguelike, you battle through various levels and then make pit stops to buy new gear or upgrade what you already have, such as getting a better battery or another gun. My friends and I had an amazing time playing Soulmates, so much so that we ended up playing 2 hours instead of the planned 1. It was really cool how much you actually did have to work as a team to get things done. The enemies pretty much stayed in one place once they appeared, meaning that someone had to steer the ship to get the gunners into position to aim. While the guns could be rotated a bit, it was usually not enough on its own, and the ship itself had to be moved. And because of this, not all enemies could be taken care of right away, so someone else would have to move the ship's shield into place to protect it from taking damage if any enemy wasn't killed fast enough. This game was definitely not easy, but it only took us a couple of tries to get used to the mechanics, and then we were able to make our way all the way through and beat the final boss, a giant alien space crab. This game is cute, hilarious, and so much fun. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Number 3, ShantyTown. The first cozy building game I played was ShantyTown, a diorama building game where you create colorful, atmospheric, and dense urban environments. The game has 2 different modes, a story mode where you follow a set path, and a creative mode where you can use all unlocked objects to really build whatever you desire. I played this game towards the end of a long stream day, which could have been a bad thing, but the game was so fun and relaxing that I was able to stay engaged and still really enjoy myself despite being pretty tired. I loved how you got to watch the buildings transform in front of your eyes as you placed items to meet the requirements needed for upgrades. I was never 100% sure what something would look like, and so seeing the buildings all come together was a very rewarding experience. Its graphics are very cute and cozy, and there is a pretty decent variety in swatches for different items. I would say that this game's biggest strength is its character, as it draws you in and makes you want to keep playing. However, mechanically, there were a few things that were a bit annoying, and I would consider that to be its biggest weakness. You can't move the buildings once you've placed them down, so you better hope that you have them in the perfect location. Additionally, the camera can be a bit hard to work with at times, especially in areas that are smaller or tighter, making it hard to see as you begin to add a lot of items. For the demo, I would rate this game 4.5 out of 5 stars. Number 2, Birdigo. The very first game we played was Birdigo, a word game about migrating birds that was inspired by games like Wordle and Balatro. I think the Steam description does a great job at explaining everything you need to know about the game. Play cards, build your deck, trigger combos, and guide your flock. I've tried many times to put into words exactly how the game works, but it never made sense. I really do think that this is a game that is easiest to learn through playing. As someone who is not a big roguelike or deck builder gamer, I did pick up on the mechanics pretty quickly. All of the modifier cards were easy to understand, even without having lengthy descriptions, allowing me to hop straight into actual gameplay rather than stumbling around for the first 30 minutes before having to restart, as happens in some games. I suppose the main weakness I can think of is that it might get repetitive over time, but even that isn't a great weakness because for those who enjoy word games like myself, the repetition is what is nice. However, if you think that this is something you would tire of, I would recommend just sticking to your daily Wordle. I really cannot think of anything that would make this game better. It is entertaining, engaging, and relaxing all at the same time. It gives you the tiniest of brain workouts while still being fun, and is incredibly rewarding when you hit big. Definitely 5 out of 5 stars. Number 1, The Holy Gosh Darn. While The Holy Gosh Darn is categorized on Steam as an action-adventure game, I think it can be more accurately described as an investigation game. In this game, you play as Cassiel. Cassiel is a foul-mouthed angel trapped in a time loop with a mission to save heaven. You work alongside Death to jump between timelines, correcting any mistake you make, and eventually working to get the perfect outcome. This game was so much fun. Genuinely, this was my favorite game that I played for this video. I'm not sure how to describe the mechanics without giving brief spoilers, so skip ahead if you don't want that. As an example of how the game works, at one point you find a man who is asleep and you need to wake him up. So you travel back in time and make a cup of coffee, bringing it to him before he can fall asleep. Basically, you learn information in the past/future and then time travel to use that information to your advantage. I don't think I did a good job explaining that at all, so I am sorry about that, but this game does have a demo, so it may be best to just learn while playing. This game has a lot of strengths, including a cool art style and entertaining dialogue. Even after redoing the same thing over and over again, I wasn't bored because of Cassiel's inner monologue. This game is without a doubt 5 out of 5 stars. For the remainder of the games, we are going to go rapid fire with quick thoughts and ratings. Quick side note, I am flipping the order, so like to start we went 20 to 1 and then now we're gonna go 21 to 40. I felt like it made sense. I feel like it made sense for the first section to like count down to like my favorite game, but then for the second section, I don't know. Sorry if that bothers you. Number 21, PlateUp. This game was fun and I had a good time, but it didn't stand out to me in any meaningful way. Y'all have probably already heard about it, so I don't need to discuss it much. 3 out of 5 stars. Number 22, Oh Airlines. This is basically PlateUp, but in an airplane. You play as a flight attendant and take care of the passengers' needs. It was fun, but at times overly difficult, such as when you have to chase a dog around the plane to bring it to a passenger. 3 out of 5 stars. Number 23, Wildwood Down. This is a story-rich point-and-click game where you investigate a series of murders/disappearances that are happening set along a beach/boardwalk. It was cool and I will probably finish it, but I liked some of the other point-and-click games better, and I also hated one of the characters in this game, which is why it is lower on the list. 3 out of 5 stars. Number 24. Chained Echoes. Chained Echoes is a 16-bit style JRPG set in a fantasy world where dragons are as common as piloted mechanical suits. It was cool, and I thought the story and dialogue were both very well written, but after only playing an hour, I didn't feel like I could really rate the game. Many other games had me immediately hooked, and I knew that they were great, but this one didn't. It was fun, but definitely felt more mediocre than some of the others I played. 3 out of 5 stars. Number 25, Rekindled Trails. This is a relaxing adventure game where you have to gather and sell goods to help rebuild various villages and bring life back to a world that you apparently destroyed in the long distant past. You work with a flame companion and run around fishing, mining, and foraging to meet the requests of merchants in the different villages. A key part of the game is inventory management. Similar to Dredge, you have to fit items into your inventory by rotating them around each other. I played this game on the 5th day of streaming after going for a combined 30+ hours the previous 4 days, so I do need to admit that maybe my perception of the game was clouded by fatigue, but overall I think it was not a bad game, just not the most amazing one out there. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Number 26, Teller's Duty. In Teller's Duty, you play as a bank teller at Cretaceous Bank. You help people complete their withdrawal/deposit requests, but as the days go on, there are more and more weird rules and strict policies put into place that you must abide by. It is pretty interesting, especially if you pay attention to the story that is told through the dialogue with customers. I could see myself playing it again, but it wasn't anything absolutely mind-blowing, which is why I have it in the middle of the rankings. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Number 27, Please Watch the Artwork. This is a spot the difference game where you play as night surveillance at a museum where the paintings are alive. It was fun and I enjoyed trying to find the differences in the paintings, but some of them were super hard to figure out, something that the game even acknowledged. It is supposed to be a hard game, which is probably great for some people, but not so good for others. I don't see myself playing this game again anytime soon, and even though it has endless possibilities, I don't really think it has much replayability. At some point, staring at the same handful of paintings is just boring. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Number 28, Shrink Rooms. Shrink Rooms is an escape room puzzle game where you have to get to the exit before the walls shrink in on you. You have to plan your steps and work with the boxes around you as well as the walls themselves to navigate the room and make your way out of it. It wasn't really up my alley, so I would give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. However, if you enjoy these kinds of games, you will probably have a great time with it. Number 29, Go North. Go North is a puzzle game where you traverse a maze trying to reach the top to have a wish granted by the maze god. The graphics are cute and the game itself is pretty fun. Not too hard, not too easy. There are various items you can find that ensure you don't get lost in the maze, so I did like that. I had a good time playing the game, but since the demo was only 30 minutes, I can't really place it much higher than some of the other games that I truly loved. 2 out of 5 stars. Number 30, Lunars. Lunars is a fast-paced party game that you can play with up to 8 people. It was a lot of fun, but was also a bit weird. Things moved really fast and none of my friends or I really knew what was happening. I had an okay time, but I was a bit annoyed that I won the most minigames by far, had nearly twice the number of coins at the end, but still didn't come in first place because all 3 other people were given a jade button, but I wasn't. I haven't played the game Mario Party, but I've been told that the jade buttons are similar to the stars in that game. But like, what do you mean I didn't get one for most coins, most wins, something like that? Most steps taken gets one, but I didn't? 2 out of 5 stars. Number 31, Poof cleaning services. In this game, you clean and organize other people's homes, learning stories about their lives. It was fun and cute, but you don't have a lot of flexibility or freedom. A lot of items can only be placed in one spot or in a certain way. It was only a short demo, and I do think I'm going to keep an eye out for a full release because it does give similar vibes to Unpacking, which is a game I really enjoy. 2 out of 5 stars. Number 32. Bytebond. Bytebond is a co-op puzzle game where you and a friend fight through various levels to regain control over an infected CPU. I did enjoy the mechanics of the game. You and your friend have to send energy back and forth between each other to open doors, kill enemies, and get to the end of the level, but after a while it just got a bit repetitive. Cute concept, but there are other co-op games that I like more. 2 out of 5 stars. Number 33. Cauldron. Cauldron is a cute turn-based RPG that centers around various minigames. It was cute and fun enough, but I wasn't blown away by it. I liked the mining minigame, but hated the apple one. The combat was a bit boring, and that was the main way you progressed, by initiating combat and clearing out a new area of the map. I'm not opposed to playing the game again, but there are many other similar games that I would rather play instead. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Number 34. Our Journey. Our Journey, The Silent Voice, is a 2-player co-op puzzle game where you are meant to only communicate through the creative use of symbols to help your friend find the right path to go down. It was fine, but I felt that the difficulty was weird. At first it was super easy, and then boom, it got so freaking hard. Too hard to the point that it was no longer really enjoyable. The cards were randomized, which would have been fine had they made any sense for what I was looking at, but most of the time they didn't, and no amount of creativity would have helped. You also can't back out after you begin any given path until you reach the end of it, which was very annoying. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Number 35, Dead Letter Department. This is a horror typing game where each day you go to your data entry job and transcribe the mail that the system was unable to read. As the days go on, more and more oddities appear in the mail and things get creepier and creepier. If this was just a regular typing simulator, I think I would have loved it, but the horror aspect led me to not enjoy it. Nothing ever happened. I just kept reading weird mail or having glitches happen on screen. Maybe I didn't play enough, so I didn't get to the actual horror mechanics. I don't know, but I do know that it didn't feel like an amazing game. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Number 36, Outbound. This is an open world survival crafting game where you build a home on wheels and live sustainably off the grid. It was cool, I guess, but everything felt so eerie to me, so I wasn't able to relax, and it definitely didn't feel cozy. Why is there so much human technology everywhere, but no other humans? What happened to them all? Why am I the only one here? Maybe with friends it would have been different, but alone the game was a bit boring. Although I did enjoy driving the van. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Number 37, Time to Morp. Time to Morp is a cozy base building adventure game where you meet and take care of adorable creatures named Morps. You explore a new planet and work with your crewmates to grow crops, fish, build, and automate things along the way. The game isn't necessarily bad, but it was, for lack of a better word, nothing burger. It looks adorable, but upon playing it, it just felt to be generally lacking in substance. 1.5 out of 5 stars. Number 38. Trolley Problem Incorporated. I really wanted to like this game, but unfortunately, it was pretty boring. For those who don't know, the Trolley Problem is a well-known ethical thought experiment. There is a trolley heading down a track. Further down the road, 5 people are tied to the tracks. If you flip a switch, the trolley will change to a different track and only kill one person instead. What do you do? This type of ethical dilemma, while interesting, does not make for a fun or engaging game after about 5 minutes. This game asks you to answer the same general scenario with just slightly different details over and over again, and is really just not much fun. 1 out of 5 stars. Number 39, It Has My Face. It Has My Face is a super cool concept, but was executed kind of poorly in my opinion. I thought that the pixelated people would make it more fun for me personally to play since it is a scary game, but it would be less scary since it looked the way it did, but in reality, it really just wasn't scary at all. In the game, you have to find your clone and kill it before it kills you, but the mechanics for killing were really janky, especially with the up-close weapons, and I didn't even make it 30 minutes before deciding I just could not play anymore. 1 out of 5 stars. And finally, number 40, Crackernuts. I don't really have anything to say about Crackernuts Crackernuts since its demo was just around 10 minutes and there was barely any gameplay in it. I guess the story is intriguing, but I can't really say anything other than that, which is why it's at the bottom of the list. I'm not saying that it's bad, I just don't have any opinion on it because there isn't really anything to have an opinion on. Question mark out of 5 stars? And there you have it, folks. Those are my thoughts on the 40 games that I tested for Tiny Teams 2025. I had so much fun and I was really impressed with some games that I didn't think I would actually like that much. If any of y'all have played these games and played more than an hour, feel free to let me know in the comments if you think I should go back and try anything that I maybe didn't like that much as well. Maybe giving it a longer shot, I'll find something that I enjoyed about it that I didn't at first. So I'd love to hear if anybody else has opinions on any of the games that were maybe a bit lower on the list. As always, please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. It does really help out. And with that, I'm gonna head out. So I have a little saying over on my Twitch channel. I hope y'all have a great sleep. I hope both sides of your pillow are nice and cold. Okay, bye! I was worried that the character design, simple blobby bobby, oh my god, simple blobby bodies with basic faces. It's not that hard to say. You got this, bestie.